Hello, hello. Hey there, hey there, hey there. How's it going? Casey Zeman here. I hope you're well. I'm just turning the volume down here so I can hear. So I don't actually see you guys. I just see me. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to this presentation. I'm super excited because I want to share with you guys some cool features that are going to provide you more leads and sales when you're creating online funnels. Now, for those who are brand new to this, my name is Casey Zeman. I'm the founder of EasyWebinar, Fullscope.tv, and a couple other training programs and software designed to help your business and brand grow through the power of automation, scalability, and engagement. So I focus on the top engagement strategies of webinars, video, and live video to build a business and brand. And today we're talking about webinars, but we're talking about leveraging webinars so that you have more time and freedom. Now, why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about webinars for more time and freedom? Well, here's something that maybe you guys don't know. Well, I have a new baby that just came out. I've a new baby that just was born just a couple days ago, and I knew this was obviously happening because my wife has been pregnant, and we're adopting two kids as well. And because of that, because we have so much kind of going on this year, I really felt like automation was the key for me and my business. Now, as the owner of a platform that does automation, you'd be surprised to know that I have a lot of automated webinars going, but I really amped it up this year, really amped up how to use the power of webinars, the power of automation and scalability while still having engagement, and more importantly, a freedom of life, a freedom of time so that I can spend with my kids and family. And that's really what a bigger part of the whole reason I've decided to do this. So what I'm sharing with you today is strategies that are going to benefit you so that you can get more people signed up to your webinars and in turn make sales. Would that be something you'd be interested in hearing? What do you think? Yeah. And just so everybody knows, we're streaming this on Facebook Live. We're also just playing around with it on Periscope as well. So welcome, everybody. If you're watching from Periscope, I'm going to flip this around and going to sort of talk to you guys from this point, okay? So just as an FYI. So anyway, what are we talking about? So, I like to use webinars for any sort of lead generation and sales. I find that webinars, the best way for me to teach education-based marketing, right? So that I'm building a know, like, and trust, and I'm using the power of webinars to essentially take you down a story arc path for the next hour where you're getting to know, why I've created something that is going to benefit you. Hey, welcome, Greg Harvey. Good to see you here. And guys, if you are watching on Periscope or Facebook, please share this with your friends and followers and fans. That would be beneficial. And if this is something that they would be interested in, please do share this. I really appreciate it. So again, what are we talking about? We're talking about the power of webinars for doing just that. If you're an author, expert, coach, or consultant, or someone who is looking to create a larger impact in the world, sell your programs, your coaching, your digital courses, your services online so that you can sort of leverage your time better. And that's the biggest thing here. It's all about leveraging your time. Sometimes you have to look at it like this. With more than 1.4 billion web pages in the world today, it seems like a daunting task to be able to rise above the noise. But if you have a few key skills of using technology like what we're doing, you can easily rise above the noise in whatever niche you're in and actually connect and engage with the people that want the services that you provide based on the pain that they're experiencing and the solution that you have, right? And that's what ultimately a webinar does. You have the opportunity in a webinar to show them exactly what their pain point is, relate to them on that pain point, and then show them and express to them the solution. And that solution would be, of course, your product, your service, et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm showing you today, I want to give you some feature things that we're doing with EasyWebinar, because ultimately my goal has always been to improve the platform of EasyWebinar, which is in turn going to help you to sell more and connect and engage with your audience more. So there is a feature out there called in-time webinars. Now, how this works is for an automated webinar that's streamed in real time on Evergreen, and for those who don't know, an automated webinar is a webinar that is pre-recorded. It's your perfect show already done that streams in real time with kind of the look and feel of live, but without you having to actually be there. So it's effectively doing the selling for you, right? Now we're doing live, but of course the automated webinar it doesn't trick people into believing it's live. What it does is it uses the engagement tools of video and the ability for people to still engage and connect with you via a live chat or via a question box, but you don't have to actually be in the room. You can record your perfect show and let that do the work for you. And we have tons of customers who are doing that every single day. They're leveraging their time more. They're able to do the things that they love, spend more time with their family, while at the same time make more money. We have people that are doing several hundred a day to several thousand a day on automated webinars. Some of our customers are actually doing $20,000 a day using the power of automated webinars. So I'm going to share with you some of those tactics so that you could potentially do this yourself. Is that a deal? Would that be something you might be interested in? Whether you are watching on Facebook or whether you're watching on Periscope. And again, as I said, please share this out with your friends and followers and fans if that is something that they would be interested in as well. Please do so. So anyway, as I was saying, the one strategy that I'd like to share with you today, well, there's a couple, but this one particular strategy is pretty powerful. It's called an in-time webinar. Now, what is that? Well, we have found when people come to a registration page, if you give them too many days in advance to sign up for a webinar, oftentimes, they sign up for the webinar for sure, but oftentimes they don't show up to the webinar, right? Well, we have a solution for that. We have a solution for you for that if they don't show up to the webinar, right? They sign up, but they're not showing up because it's maybe a few days in advance. Now, there are tactics and things you can do in order to get more people onto your webinars if you do have people sign up 3 or 4 days before the webinar starts. But that's a whole different thing. That's called authority seeding. I teach about that in a program that I created called Elite Webinar Mastery. But I'm not going to focus on that right now. I want to focus on a solution that we've built out inside of EasyWebinar to effectively help you get more people onto your webinars right away. And that's effectively what this teaching and training is right now. It's how to get more people, more butts in seats, okay? Right? That's what we're all interested in, right? Getting more people showing up to the webinar. So what is this tool, this solution that does that? Well, this is what it is. I have 3 of them for you, but we're going to go with the first one first. It's called in-time webinars. Now, an in-time webinar is a webinar that's streamed essentially in real time, but it's streamed as soon as someone comes to the page. And it shows the next increment by, say, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour. Now, that might be confusing to you, so let me explain it and actually show you this in a video format, okay? So if you guys are watching inside of Facebook, that's where you can see this. For those who are watching inside Periscope, you won't be able to see this, but I'll explain it a little more in detail so that you can really get a full understanding of it. But here's the explanation of an in-time webinar. Say someone shows up to your registration page at 5:14 p.m. Our software will show and serve a webinar available to them at 5:15 p.m., okay? Now, what if they show up at 5:17 p.m.? Our software will then show them a 5:30 p.m. option. So do you understand how in-time webinars work? It's like you're showing up just in time to watch a webinar that's going to be starting right away, right? And we create increments of 15, 30, and 1 hour. So if you show up, you can come, like if you show up at 5:07, you can have it at 5:15 is the next one. Now, if you decide you want to have it every 30 minutes, if someone shows up at 5:07, they'll get 5:30. If they show up at 5:35, they'll get 6 o'clock, right? That's how this works. Why do we do it this way? We've done it this way because we've found that the more butts in seats the closer you are to getting that sale, okay? That's what we noticed. We've just noticed that the more people come to your webinar when it's instantaneous. And that because there's a lot less barrier to entry. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't work to have a webinar 4 days in advance. In fact, sometimes it does, but you have to have the right level of authority seating, getting people excited to show up to the webinar, maybe letting them know who you are, the publications you've written for or been mentioned in, share case studies and testimonials even before coming to the webinar. That's authority seating, and oftentimes you can do that in a webinar, but just-in-time webinars or in-time webinars are really great because now you have the ability to essentially just get people directly on the webinar. Now let me show you how this works inside of EasyWebinar, right? So I'm going to go into this particular webinar right here. Now for those, of course, as I said, who are watching, you will not be able to see this, right? So if that's the case, I apologize ahead of time. But what I'm going to do right now is drag this over so you can kind of get a better glimpse of how this looks. Okay. All right. So there we go. Here we go right here. All right. There we are. So here's how it works. So first off, we are in an Evergreen event, right? This is an Evergreen webinar. And an Evergreen webinar, again, is a automated webinar that's streamed in real time with the look and feel of live. So this is an automated webinar. Inside of EasyWebinar, we have some cool things that you can do. You can start a webinar that's live and then suddenly turn it into an Evergreen webinar. Or let's say, you run a live webinar and suddenly you get a strep throat and you can't be on there for the webinar as it's happening in like 30 minutes. Well, you can easily toggle over from live to Evergreen, and all the people that have already registered will still be able to watch the webinar. They'll still be able to come to the webinar, and you just put in a pre-recorded video, and it's seamless. It feels like they're still watching the presentation, even if something happens to you, for whatever reason, right? That's pretty cool. We've had that request, and that's one thing that EasyWebinar is the only software that can actually do that. So it's a pretty cool feature. But let me quickly show you how this works. So when you're setting up a webinar, in our event type and scheduling area is where you're going to go in and set up your automated webinar. So you're going to toggle this to Evergreen. You're going to stream this out in your attendees' local time zone, so it shows up in their time zone, not yours. And the reason you do this is if you have a worldwide audience, people in Singapore at 2 p.m. won't be able to show up to your webinar because that's like the middle of the night for them. So by streaming it in your local attendees' time zone, it shows up for them in their time zone, and you get more people registered. That's essentially how that works. So now, what I tend to do is I like to set Evergreen recurring webinars. So that's what this is all about. Let me actually just bring me down here just a little bit. Pull that up there. Okay. All right. So I like to do, as you can see right here, I like to set mine to Evergreen, and I stream it out every single day. I start the day. I don't end the day because essentially I'm doing this, continuously is the idea. And when you're doing an in-time webinar, you don't need to have a daily event time because it's essentially going to show increments in the next 15, 30, or an hour. So I'll just quickly show this to you. So I have the enable in-time registration on, okay? I've decided to have it every 15 minutes. That's the interval that it's going to show next, right? And I've also, I'm excluding time for in-time registration, meaning when people come to the page, if there is like a time you don't want to show the interval, then it will push to the next time. So here's how it works. So let's say it's 11:10 p.m. for your audience. Well, normally during the evening, your audience isn't going to be watching a webinar. So we exclude the in-time registration from any particular time you want. So we do 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. is where we exclude the just-in-time. So it will jump, if someone shows up at 11:15, it will jump essentially to 7:15 a.m. because we don't want them, we essentially don't want them to be watching during the, overnight, right? Because that doesn't have that look and feel and that experience of being, sort of live, right? So that's why we do it that way. Now, to use the just-in-time events, you want to display next available schedule, okay? Next available schedule. So hold on one second. Let me pull this up. There we go. Display next available schedule. Now, if you chose to have next two available schedules, what would happen is it would show the just-in-time interval, and it would show this daily time, right, that you would be setting up. Now, I don't want to do that. I kind of want to just make it to where there's one time available, and that is when they show up, it's going to give them the option of going to the next 15-minute interval, right? And so that's what I have here, okay? So you can see that, right? So that's set like that, and that's really all you have to do when you're setting up your webinar with EasyWebinar. Now, for those who've never seen EasyWebinar, the EasyWebinar essentially is a platform, as I said, that does both live and automated webinars. We're the only tool that can stream from both live to automated webinars. We integrate with your WordPress site, but we also house and host all the pages for you. We can stream it from our own server, or you can stream it from your WordPress site. It's a pretty remarkable tool. You can use your front-end page builders like ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, whatever you want to do with our platform as well, although we create all the pages for you as well. We have templates that you can use, right? Custom templates are pretty cool. We have here's just a few of them. The Chris Luck theme, double presenter. You can customize and create your own template and add your own branding and do all sorts of cool stuff. That's what you have there. Yeah, we have templates, yeah. A lot of cool templates that you can use. Here, I'll flip this around so you can kind of see. There. Yeah, so here are just some of the templates you can use. And we have people that use this template and just completely customize it. They add their own logos, their color, everything directly to it. And so you can do that. You can just completely change it around. So it's pretty cool stuff, right? So here's the presenter information. You can add that as well. So we build out the registration pages, and depending on which one you grab, it's going to show you, here are the options that you have here. You fill out the information on the registration page. You can actually add logos right here. Here's a logo ad builder that you can do. You can add your own custom CSS. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. You can build out the thank you pages right here, right, where you can add video on the thank you page. You have your event page, which is right here. This is where you can set up either your automated webinars or your live webinars, because with EasyWebinar, you can stream out live webinars. Now, so if you were to go into here and toggle this to live, we have a live dashboard that you can actually run your webinars from. Right now, because I have it set to Evergreen, that's why in the event page it's showing the Evergreen settings, okay? So, you'd set the length of time that you want your automated webinar to flow. You'd choose the redirect if you want it, at the end of the webinar. So my webinar video is 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 58 seconds. At the end of it, I have this link going, right, which sends people directly to my sales page. Then you can have different chat boxes. You can have the built-in chat box. You can disable the chat box. You can have Facebook, Twitter, any third-party chat. And for live, you can actually use our built-in chat box when you're using our live application. You can have your show attendees on the event page, so you can actually show your folks on the event page itself, right? And then this is where it gets cool. You can create your offer buttons, right? So for an automated webinar, how this works is it will pop in different things during the presentation itself, right? So for instance, in what you're seeing here, it will show that in 1 minute, at 1 minute in, I show this message. Download your own copy of the webinar workbook now, right? And then I have a download button that looks like this, that then streams out this link right here. this particular link right here, right? Let me kind of bring this up here. Actually, I'll bring this over here. Okay, hold on a second. There we go. Okay, and so on and so forth. And that's and you can have this. You can enable a countdown, so you can show up and then expire. We have deep integration with Infusionsoft and Entreport, and soon to be Drip. And ActiveCampaign and all sorts of stuff, so you can actually track if people click on the buttons or they saw the offer but didn't click, and you can build out essentially campaigns that are specifically crafted to your audience based on what they do, their actions, right? And so here's offer number 2, which is I say download the event launch blueprint infographic, pick it up now. You can actually customize your button. You can change the color of this. It's all sorts of cool stuff. You can, color of the button. You can change the background. It's really kind of cool. You can also then, have the links that it's going to. This is a PDF that they download, and so on and so forth. And now here is where I finally have my, buy now, right? And this pops up at the 1 hour, 32 minute mark of the webinar and ends at the 2 hour, 5 minute and 58 second point of the webinar, right? And essentially, this is the buy now button that shows up, right? What color gets the most clicks? Green, red. I mean, all our buttons are optimized because they're the only things that are showing up. So they get a lot of play. So they're pretty good no matter what you have. So anyway, that's how this works. When you create a webinar, you would essentially build all this out, and you'd click Save and Publish, right? And as soon as you're done saving it, the webinar links pop up, okay? Let me just pull this over here. Here are the webinar links right here, okay? Let me just bring that over. There we go. Webinar links pop up, and here's what the page will look like. Here's just an example of one of our templates, right? And as you can see, it's 5:27 and a new event starting at 5:30 in my time zone. So if you came to this page wherever you are in the world, it's going to show your time zone, and the next interval is going to be, like if you're in Eastern, it's going to be 8:30, right? So if you grab this link, it would show that. And then if you register, let me quickly register and kind of show you how that works, okay? Hold on. Okay, just registering for this particular webinar brought me to a thank you page right here, where on the thank you page I have a video that kind of says, virtual high five, thanks for making it to the webinar, right? That's what this is doing. Let me just turn that down. Actually, I'll turn this down, but I'll play it. And that's what I do. I incentivize people from the page. I say, click here to get the show notes, right? So I have them actually have the ability to download a workbook, and you can see the event's going to start here in 56 seconds, right? So this is what they can see. They can download the workbook. They can listen to a Webinar Lab podcast. And if they share news of the event, like if they like the page like this, it will unlock, as you can see, a free bonus gift. So we incentivize them to actually share it, which gets more people to it. It gets more viral people to the webinar itself. So this particular session is starting in 25 seconds. Now what's going to happen is I'm also getting at the same time an email sent to me that has the same login to the webinar, right? So right now, even if I didn't come to this page, I'd still have in my email the first welcome email that's essentially saying, hey, come to the webinar, can't wait to see you, right? And that's essentially how this works. So what would happen here is, here's the webinar URL. So if I clicked on this webinar URL, I've already registered for this particular webinar. It starts at 5:30. I click on this particular webinar, and look, it's redirecting me right into the room, okay? If you see here, right? And now it redirected me directly into the room itself, okay, where it's playing in real time. So if you were to refresh the page, it's not going to start from the beginning. It's playing in real time with the look and feel of live. That's kind of how this works. Okay, it doesn't play it from the beginning. It plays in real time. And the whole point of that is that so that you're giving them the best experience possible. Okay, and essentially people can ask questions. I have the question box up. Hi there, Casey. This looks cool. And I can submit my question. It will said the message has been sent, and then I, on my end, will be getting I'll be getting that email from you. Okay. Now the cool thing is you could even set this up to where maybe you have a sales team and you want them to respond. You can hook up your own help desk and email and have that as the place where the questions go. But the cool part of this is that, now I have a baby, and it's important for me to even have more time leveraged. And I love doing automated webinars because people love to get responses directly from these automated webinars. Like if someone asks a question, they can go back into their email after the presentation, and essentially what happens is I respond to them. I reply to their questions, okay? And they love it. They feel like, okay, well, he didn't necessarily answer maybe my question during the webinar itself, but I got a personalized email that was crafted for me for my response. And so I find that I get similar sales on an automated as I do a live because I try to create a level of engagement on it, right? Now, as you can see, here's the workbook. It's showing up at just the right time, as you can see right there, right? It'll go away as well, but people can download it. And this is a workbook that they can download, and they can, they have it along when they're essentially doing the webinar. And so this is how it works. And that's the power of a just-in-time webinar. You're able to essentially stream it out in real time with a look and feel of live, and you get more people showing up to the webinar itself, right? And that's really the power of it. So let's see if I could show you some of these. So these are webinars that people sign up and they come right away. You can see the people take action. They take action, and the power of that. The reason I'm sharing the actions with you, right? And I'll zoom this in, but I don't want to. I don't want to show you guys the emails because I want to protect the emails of the people that sign up. But you can say they take action, they registered, and our system actually tracks all of that data. So when you can see the people that take action, you can see what buttons they click, what questions they ask, and all of this can be tied in with your autoresponder, CRM platform, whatever you have. So it's pretty powerful, and you don't even need an autoresponder oftentimes when you're using EasyWebinar to do this, right? All right, well, that's just the live webinar itself, but what I did want to show you is that you could actually, and I'm in my Evergreen settings right here, so let me quickly show you how that works in the Evergreen settings. Hold on one second. So as you can see right here, it says, right? It says Evergreen. Yeah. You should be able to see that. And while it's saying Evergreen, you can. Oh, sorry. Let me actually transition. Okay, 1 second. Hopefully, it's still showing that page. I gotta check on that, but. Well, I'm gonna check on that in a minute. But as I was saying, so the way this would work is if you click Publishing Options, or actually, if we go in and we go to Edit Event, there we go, Edit Event, right? And I'm gonna go now back into the event type and schedule, okay? Now this is where we have the in-time registration. We have it set for 15 minutes. But what you can also do, by the way, is if you wanted to, you could turn this off and have yesterday's replay show up from the registration page itself, okay? From the registration page itself, you can show the replay, okay? So how that would work is, so I just turn that off, and I turn this off, turn this on, and so now it's going to show, I can do this. I can show yesterday's replay and the next available schedule. So I can show yesterday's replay and a noon time every day, right? That's pretty cool. Now, what does this do? This allows people to essentially come to the replay page instead of the in-time webinar. Now, what's the difference between the two? A replay shows a replay. So it shows that people can fast forward and rewind, where the just-in-time webinar has the look and feel of a live webinar solely, okay? That's really the biggest difference here, all right? That's really, truly the biggest difference. Now, I'm actually not going to save that webinar because we have people coming to it right now. I'm going to choose, let's choose this one because this one is not one that we have coming to the webinar right now. So I'm going to disable the just in time. I'm going to enable the yesterday's replay, and I'm going to show yesterday's replay and the next available schedule, okay, right here. All right. And I'm going to click Save and Publish. And then we're going to go in, and now we're going to look at what the replay or the registration page looks like. Here's another one of our templates. And you can see here it has yesterday's replay now, or we could choose that future time slot, right? That future time slot right now is set for 4 p.m. So if I chose yesterday's replay, I came in. Oh, hold on. Register for the webinar. It would bring me to a page that essentially is similar to what you saw in the just-in-time, but it brought me directly to the page, and it brought me to where it's got a fast-forward and rewind toggle to it, right? That's really the difference here, right? It has a fast-forward and rewind toggle on it. So you guys can sort of see that, right? Let's see. I think, can you guys see this okay? I just want to make sure that everybody can sort of see this. So I can fast forward it, as you can see here, right? And what will happen is when I fast forward it, you can also see that we have these, the timed events showing up. Right? You see the timed events showing up here, right? See that? Right? So that's the power of it, is that the replay is direct, okay? Or, obviously, if they chose the future time slot at 4 p.m., that would be coming in at 4 p.m., right? So that would be 4 p.m. February 5th, which is in 2 days from now, okay? Now, the reason it's in 2 days from now is, let's go back in to click Edit, the webinar. The reason it's 2 days from now is because I blocked a day, I blocked by 1 day, okay? Now, what that essentially means is I'm blocking by 1 day means that whenever they come to the webinar, it's going to not let them watch for 1 whole day, and it will bring them into the next day. So right now, because it's past 4 p.m. today, it's not going to show up for today, and it's also not going to show up for tomorrow either because I'm blocking by a day, right? So what's going to happen now is going to show up the next day, and that's what it means by having a blocked day there. Okay, does that make sense? So that's how that works. Now, this way is great because they can get right into the webinar itself as a replay, okay? Now, the final thing I'm going to show you today is that we have replay pages that are separate from everything else, meaning that you could choose to have your replay pages as essentially the content that you put in already. So let's say you put in an automated webinar into here, right? And I can just put a YouTube video right into the actual webinar itself. And if I choose on my replay page to have main event replica, it will just replicate the actual event, and that's what's going to show up on the replay. But with EasyWebinar, you have the ability to build out your own custom replay pages that would be separate and different from what they would experience at the webinar itself, okay? Now, typically what would happen here is a replay happens after the webinar's over. So in a normal sequence, they would come to the registration page, they'd hit the thank you page, they'd watch the event, and then maybe a day after you'd say the replay is available and is available for 3 days, and that's how this would work. But when you decide to have the replay go straight from the registration page, okay, right here, this goes right from the registration page, it jumps immediately to the replay page. And based on that, if you can also have that replay page expire after a period of time. But let's say that you set it up to where it was, you know, they came to the registration page and you didn't have the yesterday's replay. Maybe you had the in-time webinar and you had a next available schedule, so it's not going to show this 4 p.m. It will, you know, send them into the webinar, and then you can choose when you want that replay page to go out to them. So I'm actually going to do the main event replica. That's fine. But then I'm going to set this as an evergreen expiration. So after three days after essentially the webinar's over, it's going to display a countdown on the replay page, and I can have it expire to, you know, anywhere. I can have it expire to any particular page at all, right? Now, this is where you might want to have something like this offer is over. You can send it to a lead pages or ClickFunnels page that says this offer is over, and it's pretty cool. And you could, and this is an evergreen funnel right here. The best evergreen funnel is doing it this exact way, setting up an evergreen event that recurs every day, just in time, every 15 minutes. And you have a replay page that expires 3 days after someone watches the webinar. And they'll be watching in different time, at different places and things like that. So just be aware of that. This is going to show unique to them. So now you're wondering, well, how do they get notifications for these, you know, the webinars and the replay pages? Well, that's what our built-in event notifications are for. We have before event notifications. You can create endless number of these that will send out emails for them to join the webinar. And after the webinar is over, you can choose to send out a notification for the replay. So you can say how many days after the webinar. So let's say I want, after the webinar is done, 5 hours after it's over, I can say the replay is up. And all I have to do is go in, choose one of our templates right here. I'm going to keep the webinar topic because that's the title essentially, and I'm going to say the replay is up. If you missed the event, come on in and check it out. Okay? And they can click here, watch event replay, right? And that's showing up 5 hours after the event. Now I can also add another one, right? You just click on that green button right there. Okay? Scroll down, and now I'm going to do it 1 day after the event. So now I'm going to say the replay is available for 48 hours, right? And I'm going to click here. Oh wait, let me come in here. You can add your own, like, you know, logo images and stuff like that. So replay is available for 48 hours. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to say right here. Hold on. Okay. This was a big hit, this webinar. And as such, we are going to have to bring it down. But before we do, you can watch it and take notes to implement these killer strategies. Again, this webinar is not here. This replay expires soon. In fact, it expires in 2 days. Click the link below to watch while the getting is good. Okay? Now, that's going out 1 day after. And now we can add another one. Okay? That's going out now 2 days after. And this is where you'd say the webinar is expiring in 24 hours, right? I'm going to choose this. Okay, and I'm going to say the webinar expires in 24 hours. Did you check it out yet? Live video is where it is at. Come in and learn these strategies for building a bigger and better audience using live video. See. Okay. And then finally, you could have something like here, this is webinar replay expires in 24 hours. You see how fast I'm doing this? Now, you could probably create a little better of ad copy if you wanted to, but I'm just kind of going through this, right? So here is the final one. This replay expiring and replay expires. Let's see, this is 24 hours. And I'm going to have this one go out 2 days, 3 days. Replay expires. Yes, expires today. And I'm going to take that out. Today is the day. I know we get very busy in our lives, but I get it. But today, so if you haven't seen the replay till now, today is the final day to see it. Click the link below to watch before it is gone. See you on the inside, Casey. Okay, now again, I would probably do a little more advanced stuff here, but I'm just doing it like this for now. And then what happens is I can save it, and by saving it, now I have all those after notifications also set up. So I'm going to click Save and Publish. Right? There we go, right there, and now it's essentially set up. So, by the way, this is what the replay page will look like, right? Pretty similar to what the webinar looks like, and because it is the same thing. Now, but again, as I said, I can put something else on here, but this is what the replay page looks like. You can see it has the expiration date right there, right? Or the expires in 3 days. You see that? And that's because it recognizes when I registered for the event itself, right? And so it's a very intuitive system. This is what you can set up to do automated stuff. So again, it's pretty remarkable, all the cool things you could do. So these are the type of things that EasyWebinar could do, and these are the type of things actually that will get more butts in seats, okay? The features that we, to reiterate, what we've been talking about here are a few different features. The just-in-time feature that will show the next interval every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 45 minutes to an hour. The yesterday's replay, which essentially will show from the registration page replay. And these are perfect evergreen funnels that will get more people showing up to your webinar. Again, let's just quickly show what that in-time experience looks like from the actual page itself. This is kind of what it looks like. You click on here, and it's going to show the next available time. And you notice it only gives me one option, right? That's the power of EasyWebinar, is that you can either have many options, one option. It's a dynamic scheduling system that is designed to get more people registering. So if I were to put my name and email, now it's going to give me essentially 10 minutes before the webinar starts. Actually, we're at 9 minutes before the webinar starts. Brought me to this page here, and here's the URL for the event. If I come to it, it's got 8 minutes and 45 seconds, and then it's going to count down right into the registration page, right into the room, right? The event page that we have it going on. And it will play in real time with the look and feel of live, right? That's essentially what EasyWebinar does. Now, again, you can do live webinars with EasyWebinar, and the cool part of EasyWebinar, no other platform has, is that you can actually set an automated webinar, toggle it to live, or vice versa. And that's an extremely powerful way to use our particular system to do that. You can do that, and like if anything happens where you can't show up to a live webinar, you can simply go into the platform, toggle it over from, as I said, from live to automated, and boom, you're good. So here's an example. Let's say, okay, I'm going to set this to live. Okay, I'm going to have it a one-time event. I'm going to set this in my time zone, and I'm going to have it show up for today at 8 p.m., okay? Save and publish. Oh, wait, hold on. Only a YouTube available, right, so I have to take out this one. Okay, and save and publish. There we go. Okay, now look at what this happened. This brought me into the live side. Okay, we have two different sides, live and evergreen, right? So now I'm in the live, and this is the one I created. So if I decide I want to go live, I click go live. It's going to take me to where I can start a YouTube live event. So I'm essentially going to choose the time that I want to do. That's February 3rd, that's today. And first I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to create an event here, my new live webinar. I'm going to make this unlisted, and I'm going to go live now. Okay. It's going to pull up all this goodness right here. There it is right there. There I am right there. Okay. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to put my different camera going. Let's do this one. There we go. All right, there we go. That's the same camera that you guys are using. I grab my link here, copy, pull this down, and go back into the room, and I add it right here, and I go live, okay? This is what the live broadcast room looks like, okay? You can have offers sent here. You see that? You can have offers sent. You can chat with the attendees live. Hi there. And it's essentially going to look like this. So if we go into the room, I'm just going to show you kind of how this would look here. Like, let's just register for this particular. Actually, that's not it. Yeah, this one. Okay, so he's using one of my pages. So here's the event right here. Okay, registering now. It's going to pull me in. It's going to bring me in, and if I click on here, now this event starts at 8 p.m., but I started it early. If you notice, I actually clicked go live now, and that's because I started early. But anyway, if from the main dashboard, which is right here, I can send offers. So I'm going to broadcast this offer. It's going to say add text here because this is just an example, but here it is right here. You see that right there? That sent the essentially the offer in. Let me transition so you can see that. But that's how it works. And then you have a chat that's live as well. And that's how this works. Now, what if I wanted to take this same webinar that we're in right now, this is it, right? And I wanted to make it automated. Well, let's say I just change it to Evergreen, okay? And I click Save and Publish. And that's really all I have to do. So the all the offers that you saw there, right? All the offers, they work for both live and automated webinars, right? These offers that we mentioned, this one particular offer here, this I can create it for an automated webinar, but it will also work for a live webinar too. But in the live, you can push it out at any time. It doesn't necessarily show up at 1 second and end at 1 hour, 13 minutes. For a live webinar, you have full control over this, but we automatically set it to whatever you want just in case you wanted to turn it into an automated webinar from live into automated, right? That's kind of the power of what we have here with EasyWebinar. You have this ability to do this, okay? So that's some of the cool things you could do with EasyWebinar, with the automated live, and for getting more people to join your webinars, okay? Now, there is a link, if you're in Facebook, there is a link where you can join our stream workshop. So feel free to jump in there, grab our stream workshop. I'm actually going to cancel this out because I don't need this, but this is how it works. You'd start the broadcast with the live, and then boom, it would push it directly into the live page of EasyWebinar. But I'm actually going to close that out. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to close that out, right? I'm going to close that out. So that's how kind of this stuff works, if that makes sense to you. Okay? That's what this page looks like, as you can see. So anyway, that's what this is designed for. That's what this is designed for. EasyWebinar is designed to kind of give you the best of both worlds. Okay? Here's a webinar that's running right now, as you can see. Right? Okay. All right, well, thank you guys. I hope this helps in learning more about in-time webinars, replay pages, or the ability to run a replay right from the registration page, and the expiring replay pages that we also have available as well. It's very, very powerful stuff, okay? So again, thank you. And if you have any other questions, feel free to always let us know, okay? Thanks again, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.